Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll be starting soon. This is probably the earliest AMA I've done, so I might call this like Coffee and Friends or something. I don't know.
What's going on, Ben?
How you doing, man? Like this.
You're warming out the kettle there.
Yeah. Like a couple times actually, because yeah, I was up super early for this. So
awesome.
just for everyone here, man. I'm usually I'm never up this early.
You're not a morning person.
You know, it's funny. I feel like I'm typically not a morning person, but with crypto, I think it just I don't think there's morning or night. It just whatever happens.
That's exactly what I was. You took it from the tip of my tongue. I'm like, I lost track of days of the week, days of the day, seasons. Like everything is one continuum. You know, stream like every single day. So
yeah. I feel like I mark my days by our tweets. You know.
No.
Like.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. Actually, I feel like you're a morning person.
I am. So every day we have, like, actually right at this time at 8 a.m. We have a team meeting, like, all hands on meeting. Usually lasts like 30 minutes, pretty quick. So I am awakened on Eastern time at 8 a.m. every single day, but I'm usually awakened like a lot earlier because all of my Asia team, all of my legal team, all of my finance team, like all of those, like the non-product team, which is the one that meets at 8, we're like, everybody's in Asia, so everybody starts like pinging me like right around 3 a.m. 4. So I'm usually up right around those time, like after 4 seems to be like the right time. But then, like, I go to bed at 2 or 1. It depends.
Wait, 1 a.m.?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So I do like polyfast. Yeah, 2 hours. But because I do sleep on all the times of the day, so like that I have a 24-hour schedule, and I do polyphasic sleeping, so it's a little bit. Yeah, so I do power naps 3 other times of the day at 20 minutes each. So that kind of like keeps you going.
Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Wow, I've actually, you're the first person I've talked to that's that shared something like that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty common. So I mean, it's nothing special to me. There's a whole lot of study around polyphasic sleeping, and there's a whole practice and group of people that do that kind of thing. It buys you an extra couple of hours of the day, instead of sleeping 8 hours kind of calmly. You can go on a little bit of in my case it's about 4 hours that of sleep that I get. So 4 hours and 20 minutes what I get, and that's enough. That's plenty. It's just tiresome because like the social schedule kind of complicates things a little bit. So I need to like schedule around my power naps, and people sometimes see it like a little bit weird because if I'm in a meeting, I'm like, I need to take 20 minutes. I'll be right back. And he's like, wait, what? What's happening? No, I need my power nap right now. but we were just having dinner. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. If I don't take it right now, I get all screwed up. So like it has to be very like strict on that. So yeah.
But like 20 minutes means like you have to go like there's a very like you're going to the nap period, like the sleeping, like right away. Like there's no
right away. Yeah, there's no like moving around. I close my eyes and I'm in REM.
And you're
I'm like, it takes minute or so to get into REM, but yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Oh.
My wife sometimes, like if I'm hanging around with my wife, I might be like I might be, I don't know, at the dinner table, or I might be sitting on the sofa, or like we might be around, and if it's my time, like I can be talking to her and it's like, okay, I'm shutting down right now. And quite literally, I can be sitting and I close my eyes and I can do my power nap sitting with my elbows on the table, and that works just fine.
You have to practice this. I don't think I could do this. I mean, I actually want to try. I'm really into trying new things, so I would totally try this. But I feel like just because it seems like super interesting.
Yeah. It's it's a little bit disrupting, especially if like you're trying it for the first time. Like the first week or so, can be a little like zombie like experience, and you're like, oh fuck, there's no fucking way I'm gonna make it. But then after that, like your body actually adapts. Your body is like freaking amazing, and it adapts to pretty much everything you throw at it. And like after that, it actually asks you for it. Like you don't even need to put your alarm. When is your time for your 20-minute power nap? Like you just go and like your body's asking for it. It's like, just give me my power nap, please.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I do keto, so I'm used to kind of programming my body with things.
Plus that, I also do that.
Oh, okay. There you go. You're totally more extreme than me. So forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Maybe we should get going. I've just been watching some of the questions come through. So usually, actually, what I ask everyone is if you mind introducing yourself and telling everyone how you got started with Mean.
Sure. So my name is Michel. I am the one of the co-founders of Mean and we are product DAO and the makers of Meanfi and Mean Protocol. And the genesis of all of this came last year in 2020. I was running a different company, and we wanted to do payroll basically for our employees using, or want to offer that as an option for paying part of their salaries with crypto. And I have already been in crypto for a long time. My first crypto venture was all the way back in 2011. So I've been in the space for a long time now. And I wanted to kind of bring everybody else a little bit on board. My previous venture was in the real estate space. We used to settle real estate transactions for in crypto for international investors deploying capital in the United States. And we were like, our business was in crypto, but our business didn't run on crypto. And I was trying to change that dynamic, starting with like, okay, where most of the money moves is on salaries. Let's make sure that people at least have the option to receive their salaries in crypto. And I was trying to find a solution to do that. We only came across basically one at the time. That was Sablier on Ethereum, and the way that solution was implemented was not ideal for us for a number of reasons. But we try to work on making some proposals to the Sablier protocol and adjusting it to our use case. But they were going at that time through through a process of acquisition. There was another company that ended up acquiring the protocol and everything on them. So like it went in a direction that like we didn't want. And at that time, like I knew that we were already close enough to that I wanted to do something on DeFi because like I said before, I had been in crypto for a long time, but I had not been a crypto DeFi entrepreneur at all. Everything else before was more on the money movement with blue chips, crypto, like non-DeFi type of things, right? And I wanted to do something on DeFi, so I took some time off. The other company, I handed over the company to the COO, and I took a few months to kind of like reflect and understand like how like what did I want to do first? What do I want to do to really do, and like put the structure around that. And around May, we kind of settled on Mean and on the money streams. I had 4 of like the other 4 core members of the team are all people that I had worked with before, and they joined me on this quest. And on May, we kind of like kicked everything off with a couple of very basic principles that we wanted to make sure that we live by. Starting with we wanted to make it a DAO, and we wanted to be like 100% trustless, permissionless, self-custody. Like, there were a couple of like guiding principles of what we wanted to do, and we went off to the races and into Solana.
That's awesome, man. Actually, before we get into it, because I'm personally super curious to hear how you. Because it seems like you went to a DAO really quickly and early, and it's something that we're really interested in, and your DAO seems amazing. So I really want to hear about that, and how you what the challenges are, and sort of what how you've done it so successfully. But a couple people in the channel have asked how we met or how we started our partnership. Right. And I just want to say that we met on a boat.
That's right. For real. Like, this is not like one of those jokes. I lost my keys in a boating accident type of thing. Like, we actually met on a boat.
Yeah, we met on a boat. Yeah. That actually, I mean, this is something that's interesting. That one reason why I think I'm also a fan of your DAO, and I think you have some really talented people. Is like the post that you wrote about us, like, was actually quite, like, not only was it written well, but it was quite true. Like, it was a very, like, yeah, we met on a boat, and we weren't sure about each other.
Yeah. It was kind of like an interesting. It was kind of like an interesting, like, first date. I would call that, because we were in a boat on Lisbon, right? So this is like it was not one of those like yacht thing. It was more like a like it has a it was one of those like more classic type of boats. I'm not a boat person, so I wouldn't even know what to call that.
Catamaran.
It's a catamaran. Okay, there you go. So it was a catamaran. It was kind of nice, actually, like the catamaran. So we were like on the bay, and I think we had some common investors, and that's how we ended up in that boat. We were a pretty small group, like maybe 8 or 10 people on the boat, if I recall correctly. And I remember you, Ben, like going all in, like, I'm gonna take over Solana, and I'm gonna be like, and I was like, damn, this guy has some energy. And but like the first thing was like, how is this going to work out? But yeah, I mean, for us, it was very evident from the very beginning. Like, we had been keeping an eye on you guys, and Yusuf from Sestirs was like, hey, you guys really need to talk. Like, this is like, he was actually the one that first did the push. We already like went into the conversation to meet you to like, hey, let's try to figure something out here where we can work together. But it took a little bit of time to actually get us over the first initial hump. Did it?
Yeah. It did. I think it was just. Well, I think part of it is and I think Jupiter, we're going to have a similar sort of setup in terms of communicating. Our DAO and our structure, but you have like Mean DAO, Meanfi, and the Mean protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd originally like seen Meanfi, right, and had formed an impression there more so than understanding like the Mean protocol and DCA and money streaming, which by the way is a fantastic vision. I'm really excited that we're working together on that.
Yep. Yeah, likewise.
But yeah, and I think that was sort of like what is this? Kind of. Like,
yeah. You didn't have the full picture, and I think that we did a poor job at explaining that well on the first encounter. So I think that the joke is on us too, because we have to do a better work, also like better job on our comms side, to be able to communicate the rest of the vision, the rest of the stuff. And right now there's a lot of focus on Meanfi, because that's where most people really identify with. Like most of our users are, they come in and they're like, Meanfi is where they land. Meanfi is where what they can see, what they can touch, what they can click on, what they can do stuff on. And Mean protocol is very much like our users are not, for Mean protocol, are not end users. They are other protocols, right? So that's where I think we need to do a better job at really mastering that message and making sure that it's solid and we put it out there. But soon. Yeah, we have a lot of plans around that. So a lot of good stuff coming out soon.
Awesome. Yeah. Excited. Yeah. So maybe we can go back and touch on. Actually, let me do a process. Share with everyone sort of our process of how we do these AMAs. Typically, the way we do is I just kind of talk and ask questions. It's more of an interview style. And we'll pick questions from the AMA trivia channel, but then interspersed, I'll switch off, and then we ask trivia questions. And basically, I'll ask the community a question, and the first correct answer will win a special collab NFT that we're working on. And we'll just intersperse it throughout,
All right. Awesome.
So yeah, actually, maybe you can kind of talk about you said that when you started Mean, like you had these basic principles of DAO, trustless, permissionless. I mean, did you start off with the DAO right away? Like, did you?
Yep. So we actually didn't even have a company to begin with. So the idea of starting off with the DAO concept from the get-go was a really important one to me, because I have seen being that I have been in the space for a little bit of time, I have seen the rise and fall of many DAOs, and some of the reasons why some win and some of the reasons why some don't win. And I think that a big mistake that most DAOs that have fallen is because they don't put enough, number one, transparency and engagement in their communities. And it's like when you combine that aspect of involving your community, or rather of not involving your community from very, very early on, from the onset, and it's just an afterthought that comes from your product. When you combine that with you start off as a private company that just happened to later hand over the reins into the DAO, like those two things are kind of like a killer combination that really doesn't work very well in the long run. And we have, like, even some of the largest DAO, MakerDAO is a good example of that. They have that kind of like structure, and they have won out of just sheer being first to market, and having a product before anybody else. But many of the peg stables of today would, like, if they had been born at the same time as MakerDAO would not be a thing today, because of the way that they have handled their DAO operations. And they've said many times that they want to like fully transition over and yada 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 and all of that. And I think that's fine and dandy, but there's like some irreparable damage that you do at the beginning that is kind of hard to recover from. So from our perspective, we started from the very beginning being like 100% transparent, 100% open, very welcoming to all of the community. We are super actively engaged with the community. We have from very early on, we made sure that there was a lot of documentation and a lot of things that people could read before we had any kind of legal representation in any country on earth. It was a matter of like, let's see if we can bring people together, if people can rally behind an idea and behind what we're building, and if that works, like, you know, that's where the DAO is going to be born, and that happened very quickly. You know, like more so than what we anticipated. So like, you know, the response has been phenomenal, needless to say.
And wait, this is really interesting. So it sounds like documentation first. Is that how you handle transparency?
That was a big part. Yeah. So a big part was like most of our like, you know, like all documentation, it is kind of like a moving target, and it's always being updated and changed and stuff like that. But all of our intentions were very public from the very beginning, right? So like, hey, this is what we want to do, and this is how we want to do it, and this is how we're going to go about it. And people were very critical even at the beginning, and the most critical people actually are some of our best DAO members right now. I see that, for example, Durden is on the audience here. And you know, Durden was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like this bullshit way of calculating pricing doesn't make any sense. And I remember like a few months ago having this super in-depth discussion with Durden about you know, how we need to communicate to people how pricing gets calculated on I don't remember right now if it was on either on one of the smart contracts on the actual token price when we're going to get listed, right? So one of the two things, right? So like we went on back and forth for like a week, and you know, he went on and did some research and actually like crafted a different message, and then we put it back into the documents, and like there was this back and forth collaboration openly with the community. At that point, you know, like it like being able to be there and give feedback when people actually have questions, it's paramount for people to actually believe in what you're doing, trust you, and know that, you know, this is not like this is not something temporary. Like there's actual effort and dedication put onto the creation of a community.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. That's quite amazing. So it sounds like basically there's a lot of collaboration. It's not just about sharing information, but it's actually like you're talking to people, you're working together, they're working on the documentation.
People call our bullshit all the time. that's probably the thing that happens the most. People are like, well, dude, like you know, like you know, listen, like our docs right now, like all of our, so we have two kind of docs site, two sites for documents, right? So for documentation, one is all of our technical documentation and all of our, like, you know, white papers and like DAO management, DAO governance, tokenomics, like everything that is around the operating side of the DAO and the operating side of the products that the DAO produce. And then we have a separate side, which is community managed, which is like tutorials basically, right? So like how to do things in the DAO. Those tutorial sites have been translating over more than 20 languages without, like, just complete volunteers by the community, right? Like people actually going, and I mean, you go there and you can read documentation about you know, Meanfi and tutorials about, you know, how to do stuff there in more than 20 languages. I don't know how many are there, but like pretty sure that is more than 20 by now.
Yeah. We've seen something similar too. A lot of people are really helpful with the translation stuff.
Yep.
Cool. Wow. Why don't we talk a little bit about money streaming and like what your plans are for it, and what you think
Yep.
some of the major use cases might be,
Yep.
especially like maybe DCA.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe like for setting up the context, I don't know how much your audience here in the Jupiter DAO or in the Jupiter server will be familiar with the concept. So a money stream is nothing more but a real-time settlement contract that happens between a sender and a recipient, right? So like if I want to send money to you, Ben, I have two ways of doing it. Either like I open up my wallet and I simply put your address and I click send, or I can do it using a money stream. And there's a ton of different benefits of doing that as a money stream. It doesn't make sense for one-time payment. Like if I'm paying you for a pair of jeans, like money streams don't have any use whatsoever, because there's no other contract but the actual exchange of value for, like, you can give me a pair of jeans immediately and I just send you the money immediately and that's it. I'm buying a pair of jeans from you. But for almost every other interaction that has to do with an exchange of time or services, money streams are far better option than instant transfers. And they are because there's a time component to it, where like if you are working for me or I'm working for you, like, so say that I'm your employee, right, and you are paying me a salary. Every minute that I work for you, it makes a lot more sense that I get paid in real time for the value that I am providing in real time, rather than have to wait 15 days or 30 days or however often normally companies pay out their employees, because that established a little bit of a toxic relationship between you and I that it's implicit by now, because society has kind of like forced everybody to abide by it. But payroll is a good example of a good use of money streams. And it's the simplest way that I have to explain it is, if you are getting paid twice a month, and that means that you're working for 15 days for your employer for free, and after 15 days then you get your paycheck for the 15 days prior that you have worked for them, you are essentially giving your employer an interest-free loan for that 15 days. And I want in, like everybody wants interest-free loans. So like the relationship is a little bit toxic, because the employer, that is an opportunity cost for the future value of money that is being completely lost in that relationship between employer and employee, where as an employee, you could have used that money in real time to make other investments and therefore have more than what they paid you after the 15 days. So if you were getting paid in real time, in other words, and say that, for example, after 15 days, your salary, technically speaking, is $1,000. All right. Normally, what that would mean is that you work 15 days, and after the 15 days, you receive $1,000 check. And if instead you were using a money stream, you could actually accrue interest and APY as you are making the work on second by second basis. So at the end of 15 days, guess what? You're going to have more than $1,000, because you put your money to work as you were getting it, right? So there's a real opportunity loss here if you are not using money streams for pretty much any contract that has to do with time exchange or service exchange of any kind. And you can think of a bunch of use cases. Money stream and payroll it's such a small sliver of this. Anything from DAO distributions, which is very similar to payroll, right? For works and that are done. We have already a ton of projects that are even on those bases alone. They're super interested in working with us, and we have a lot of people on board that, if only to distribute value from the DAO to their members as contributions come in, If you want to do basically real-time emissions of certain amount of your treasury for a certain amount of some other treasury, so basically anything that has to do with treasury management, it's like 100 times better if you do them with MoneyStream than if you just have a person that is constantly going there and like click on a button and having to do distributions to the different parts. Like you said it once and you forget it, and you only change the rate of flow on your DAO as voting comes in, and you need to change the allocation that is distributed to people. So very, very convenient from that standpoint of like having a value distribution network that is in real time. As people contribute, people get rewarded immediately. And you can kind of apply that same concept to a lot of other things, from farming rewards to yield rewards to pretty much every single protocol. If you think about it, you have the protocol ask the users to give or deposit value into the protocol. The user shows up with money and says, "Here, Mr. Protocol, I'll give you my money." And then the protocol in exchange promises, "We'll give you some rewards back to you, Mr. User," right? Most protocols at least do that. And in that exchange, you have value exchange from user to protocol and from protocol to user. And in those two cases, the promise is one that is strictly bounded by how much TVL the user parks on the protocol. And instead of having to wait a week or a day or however long and ask your users to come back and click on a button that says harvest or anything like that, you can completely automate that process by simply opening a MoneyStream the instant a user deposits TVL on you. And from that point on, it is up to the user to, whenever they want, either move that particular money stream into some other protocol as they are receiving the rewards, or reinvest it in the same protocol if they want to, or do whatever they want. But essentially, like at that point, the value of the rewards already left the protocol and is in the hands of the user immediately after they do that first deposit. So yeah, I'm gonna stop right here because I can keep talking forever on this.
No, it's great. I love the interest-free loan example. I think that's an amazing way to think about payroll, and maybe the problems, and I think it unlocks a lot of things. Some people have asked what our partnership looks like, so I'll just say that, like, I think what's interesting and what gets me excited about us working together is that swaps are going to be probably a very core part of money streams, right? So in your payroll example, which I love that people can just kind of set it once, right? People could so one use case can be like, say for example, your employer is paying you in USDC, and you're getting streamed that. You can set up your money streams, where you connect Jupiter to automatically swap that into Sol, right? Deposit, to take a position. Say you want to take a position in Sol, deposit that in Port, and earn interest on that along with holding a position, right? And then and in your example, this happens automatically, and then you can say within 15 days, you have a better. You would have more than you started off.
You're kind of like hinting at the DCA. So yeah, like after 15 days, basically like run some automation that moves the money, back into your wallet or something like that. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yep. And I think this is just going to be amazing, and because I mean, you don't have to. I think for most people, they're not clicking buttons and constantly having to think about all this stuff. Yep.
Yeah, I think that when you combine money streams with DCAs slash for DCA is kind of like the commercial front end name for people to understand what's happening, but like the reality is like behind the scenes called block tempo, because it's basically a cron job on chain, right? So like it's similar to the serum cranking mechanism that gets incentivized for executing processes on chain. On behalf of other people. So, but when you combine those two things, when you essentially have what you were able to achieve is it's a lot of automation on chain, and a lot of automation and interoperability in between protocols. So every time that a protocol needs to every time that a protocol grows and starts to integrate other protocols, a big challenge that kind of comes about is, which protocols am I going to integrate to, especially for on-chain programs. There's certain limit on computational units that you can actually run on a single program on chain. There is a limit on number of instructions that you can include. So there's also a limit on the size of the program. You cannot write a program that is, 1,000,000 lines long, because you cannot deploy it successfully. It's not. So you have to have a lot of considerations that essentially limit protocol developers that are deploying their contracts on chain to decide very tactically who is going to be our next integration partner. Because of the amount of work that needs to actually do that integration, and because the maintenance of keeping that integration alive for for a long time. So there's a lot of operating costs of doing every integration, and it is impossible to be the one all be all because of that. However, if you now look at having one extensibility point to the money streaming program, what you are able to do, if every protocol that decides wants to extend their protocol to be able to receive and to send money streams, what you essentially accomplish is that now, if two protocols can send and receive money streams, they can send and receive money streams to each other. And now you're starting to think, well, timeout, how much work do they have to do if there's a third protocol that now accepts and receives, can send and receive money stream? And the answer is zero. Those previous two protocols don't have to add a single line of code, and now they can have a third integration partner. Now they can talk to the three of them, because all three have the extensibility point to money streams to send and receive. And now a fourth protocol comes along, and they also add their extensibility point. And now all the three prior protocols benefit from that new guy, and that new guy benefit from already like plugging himself into a network that can talk to one another without additional overhead of point-to-point connections or point-to-point integration. So, like, in many ways, the protocol acts as the money streams, the money streaming layer acts like a TCP/IP layer of packet routing or communications or interop in between protocols, which makes the whole ecosystem a lot more future-proof, right? And a lot more interoperable across any protocols that want to participate in the money streaming business.
This is a fantastic point. Just to hit this home for everyone listening. So when we aggregate all these AMMs indexes, right? Literally, for say an AMM or something, we have to go look at their smart contract, and we have to talk to the team. Maybe their contract isn't open source. We have to, maybe they don't have an SDK, or maybe they have an SDK that works differently. Even if it's an open source thing, we have to understand if they have forked it and if there's something different about it than the original open source code. And there's actually a lot of work involved in just integrating each one. So to not have to go through that and have a standard, I think you're absolutely right. Like, it'll just be quicker and easier to interconnect with all these protocols. So I think it's one of the reasons why I think like this is gonna be amazing, man.
No, thank you, and we're like super pumped. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that this is one of those examples, just like the partnership with Jupiter, with you guys, like, a rising tide raises all boats, or something like that it goes. And I think that this is just going to make the whole, like, the entire experience on the ecosystem a lot better. And it's going to make, at some point, the same way that it doesn't make sense to not use a liquidity aggregation like Jupiter for doing swaps, it will not make sense not to be plugged into the money streaming protocol, and into the Mean protocol with money streams at some point, because you're going to be basically left out of the whole interop party between protocols. And and your users are not going to be able to take advantage of seamless integrations everywhere without you, the protocol developer, doing anything about it. Really, like, I mean, you kind of like get all the benefits from the integration that you did once.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to switch gears for a little bit and throw out a couple of trivia questions for everyone in the AMA. So here we go. By the way, great stuff. This is
yeah, no, likewise, man. Like, I mean, if I may just say, like, you guys are, and this is for the audience, right? Like, because we never kind of wrap up the story of, like, how we had a little bit of a hiccup when we first met and stuff like that. We actually wrote about it in our blog. You can go and check out that post. It was kind of fun to see the post, the article to kind of develop and tell the story like it was. But like what like after that initial hiccup, when we realize, the value that we can bring each other, like, I think that this is one of the strongest partnerships that we have. We absolutely love Jupiter, and it doesn't make sense for anybody across Solana, whether you use Meanfi or not, to do or use any other swap product than different from Jupiter. Like, you guys have the most liquidity. You have an amazing team of engineers. You have the most routes. You have fantastic user experience. So, like, we absolutely love everything we do, and your team is awesome too. So, like, I mean, you guys are you guys are going to be the de facto liquidity layer for Solana. You're already, like, on your way to be that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and we like hard work. So, cool. So, congrats to Mr. Sohail for correctly answering the first question. By the way, I've just been picking trivia questions based on what you're sharing. So I asked, what year did you first get into crypto? People are paying attention. So that's great.
Yeah.
Let me ask a couple. I'm gonna ask two more here.
Wow, yeah, this is, like, really, really interesting. I like this idea of I need to take note and take this back to our DAO about doing trivia questions during the AMA. I don't know how, like, crazy it's gonna get, because people write, like, a lot in our so, like, it's gonna be hard to kind of like follow up. But yeah, this is interesting. I like this idea.
Question number 2: what are the 2 biggest mistakes a DAO can make?
All right. So
the community has to answer.
Oh, okay, got it.
Actually, it's funny. Like, different communities do different things. The vibe is kind of different.
Yeah.
Oh.
Smoke. That's funny. Yeah, don't smoke. It's bad for you. That's so funny. Smoking. All right.
I think Lucine has gotten it. So,
all right. Awesome.
Congrats, Lucine. The correct answer was no transparency and no engagement. So
yeah,
let's it's funny. All right, one more. Here we go.
I have actually a comment here about, like, one of the answers, which I think is kind of interesting. When just let me know when I can chip in here.
No, go for it. Maybe
so, like, I've seen a couple of comments here that go something like, no token equals no community. And I think you cannot be any more mistaken on that. So I'll put ourselves in the example. we still don't have a token circulating. But DAO voting and DAO membership and DAO participation doesn't have to be only on a token. And even as our token comes live, and it does have a heavy weight in the way that DAO voting is assigned, it's not the only way that you can get proposals submitted and that you can vote on our stuff. We have this thing called the merit and reputation system, which is basically a leveling system and skill system that we assign people that are contributors, active contributors, different levels and level ups, and different skills that we can identify who has contributed on what when. And the way that we have structured right now, the on-chain governance voting, which is actually going to go live in January, is that holding the token is not the only way. It actually only gives you about 70% of the voting power. The other 30% is 100% tokenless. And it has to do very much to like how much you contributed, what is the level that you have within the community, what is the actual skills, and what are the actual roles that you have gained and attracted. It's kind of like, your medals. Like when you go to battle and you're a general and you like kind of like get those pins and stripes and stuff like that, you've earned those because of your contributions to the community. And those are going to stick with us for a long, long time. And those have a big weight because 30% of the vote comes from that, not from the token itself, right? So I think the perception that no token equals no community has been more than like disproven with MeanDAO. We have a very vibrant community, and we still don't have a token, and we have a very good system for managing those things.
Can you? I'm really curious. By the way, I 100% agree with you. I think we've avoided doing any token incentives to really make sure the base of our community is people who are passionate about what we're doing and not there for like sort of token mercenary reasons. But I'm really curious, like, to hear a little bit more about this reputation system or how you manage it. Like, how do who decides like the merit, right? Like, is everyone voting on a particular person saying, hey, this person is awesome, or is it a set of people?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, good question. So there's kind of like two leveling systems. One is or two assignments. One is based on skill, and the other one is based on quality and consistency. So the one based on skill is like, if you are a creative artist, like, and you produce work that has been used by the DAO in like events or in Twitter, or if you wrote an article, you might get the writer's role. If you're NFT maker, you get the creator role. If you are like where all the different skills that we have a ton of different skills for people. Like so depending on your level of participation and what you are contributing with, you may get those roles. Now, that doesn't mean that you might have different levels of contributors. Like two creative artists, one that created one JPEG and another one that created 10 videos, have different level of contributions. Yet both of them are creative artists, and that's where the leveling up comes along, right? So you might be a level one creative artist that did the one time JPEG that we needed or that we ended up using, or you can be a level 13 creative artist, and that is a creative artist that has consistently and constantly being contributing to the DAO in consistent ways. Now, the same way that you go up in the levels, you can go down. Like all of a sudden you disappear, people like will start taking you down, and I think that's where like God mode comes in, like who actually levels up and levels down and assigns these roles. And for that, we have a multi-tier moderation system that starts off with our ambassadors. And we have a group of ambassadors that are consistent, like high quality members of the community that help us manage the community as a whole. They are the ones that come up with all of the engagement ideas, that come up with all of the activities that we're doing, that most often provide ideas for partnerships, for engagements in general in the ecosystem, that bring up a lot of feedback into the table on how to make our community better and stuff like that. And then one level above that, we have the moderation. So the ambassadors have something called the Ambassador Club, and that is a place where like all the planning takes place. It is kind of shielded away from the rest of the community, and they kind of like hang around in there to do all of the planning that happens. And then one level above that is the mod tower, which is kind of like another place where like all the moderators. So moderators are a level higher than ambassadors, and they have basically the keys to the kingdom to the community. They are the managers of the community. I don't even do level ups and anything like that. Like the mods and the ambassadors. So the ambassadors most likely, most often suggest, hey, we need to level up this person, we need to level up that person, we need to level down this person, and then the actual executing hand behind that are the moderators. We have, I think, 10 or 11 moderators right now, and a good, I don't know, I'll have to go back and see, but maybe like 15 or 20 ambassadors in those roles. And yeah, that's pretty much the way it is. This is a self-managed, most often than not. I mean, I give input, of course, when they ask me and stuff like that, but this is a self-managed community 100% of the time. Like, I mean, it might be times that I started the whole process, but like they took over very, very quickly over what I was doing. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I'm just curious, are the mods are they full time, or are they volunteers? Like what's the
yeah.
How's that work?
So we have so it kind of varies a little bit, but so we have two of the mods that are part of the team of the core team, and the rest of the mods right now are volunteers, but they are very much scheduled to receive benefits from the token once it goes live. So yeah.
Okay.
So in other words,
cool,
like part of the treasury needs to be allocated to community management, and part of that treasury basically goes to the mods for helping us maintain the community healthy and active, right?
Okay. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. I'm taking notes, actually. Actually, I'm taking notes. This is the first time. That is good.
Yeah. I'm glad. I mean,
I'm here
that we can do.
Good ideas about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Here, let me. One of the trivia questions here. We actually have a trivia question called a version called "The Most Wrong Answer," and
okay.
Here we go.
I like it. I'm going to totally take that.
What is the most wrong answer for a mistake a DAO can make? Most wrong answer.
I love it. I love it. Nice.
Come on, let's not reuse smoke, okay? Fully air job.
Oh, I see. Zing Richard is here too. Like, yeah, he's on our server too. Awesome. Yeah, I see a lot of people here.
Yeah. We have a lot of cross community.
This is awesome. 170 people in the audience. That's a really good turnout you have here.
Yeah. I think this is one of the top.
Yeah.
One of the most we've ever had.
I'm sure that you like. I mean, come on. On the Wolf one, you must have had like 1,000 people here, because they are like
not 1,000, but
active.
but a little more than this, but not 1,000.
Okay.
But no, this is a great turnout. So just FYI, so as a process thing, so for the most wrong answer, you get to decide who wins, who's the
Oh,
winner.
all right. Let me make sure that I monitor closely. Yeah. Okay. Boring and useless. All right. Let's see. No transparency and no community. All right. Let's see here.
Guys, most wrong
By
answer,
people.
not correct.
Yeah.
There you go. Not having a twerk.
Let's see here.
Actually, I've done this a whole bunch of times, and usually the most popular one is rug.
Okay. Always communicating with the community. Most wrong answer. Not having a Twitter account. Yeah. Well, that would be a good answer. How do I do this? Help me out here, Ben. Let me see. Trading. I think this is meme coins and end up getting rug.
I'm not getting it. I feel like that one. Yeah. That one's. I'm tired of the rug dancers, guys. You got to be more creative here. DAO without vodka.
All right.
I actually thought. I thought. What was the one?
Little liquidity for the DAO token. Wrong answer was the biggest mistake. Not caring about the community.
This one.
I think that yeah, it's hard. Like, yeah, people are giving good answers, not wrong ones. Yeah. All right.
I mean, someone put buy pizza for 300 BTC. I don't know.
Actually, let's give the win to that one. I actually like that one. Yeah.
All right, Morty. You got it.
Because we love pizza anyways.
Yeah. Honestly, pizza's. There's actually I just saw an NFT collection. Actually, a friend of mine did called it was like a pizza. What was it called? Amazing Pizzas or something? I don't know. It was they were actually in Miami for the conference recently.
Nice. All right, so here's something I'm gonna do. Let me see if I can actually get this. This is one of my favorite works, but we're gonna be doing like a giveaway too, right? You said?
Yeah, there's a special collab NFT that we're working on.
Yep. All right. Do they know what it is?
No.
I'm thinking about the cap.
The what?
I'm thinking about. I'm gonna send it to you directly. I'm thinking about this guy.
Oh, okay.
You let me know if that would be pretty sick. I think, like for your community, just show some love.
Yeah.
That's one of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one's good actually. I was really inspired by that one for the.
Yeah. So I'm gonna paste the JPEG here, and then we'll figure out who the winner is. But this is one of this is by the way, like, work by Max Rogue. He's one of our DAO members. I just pasted it there in the Trivia DAO, and we're gonna be doing like a lot more, really awesome work like this, and we're probably gonna end up doing like a really awesome collection also. So
nice.
This is super top notch. So yeah, that's gonna be our contribution here for your community, man. Like, I think people are gonna love it.
Yeah, we're pumped. I mean, this artwork is fantastic. This guy is really talented, and I actually feel like maybe there should be a comic series on this. But
yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. Yeah, we're gonna be doing like one of those. But I think that this is one of the first ones that came out, and But yeah, there's that's a lot more coming. One of my favorites, like I like at some point I think I'm gonna have. I saw who was the one that had that going on, but one of our VCs has like this Samsung TVs that they're made to be hung in the wall, and they look like an actual picture. They have like I forgot the name of the Samsung model or whatever. It's basically a TV, but it is it is a an OLED display or OLED panel, which is like really matte and really dark, so you can put digital art on it, and it looks like you're looking at an actual framed picture on the thing. So he has like a bunch of those in his living room, stacked up diagonally. So like frame up 16 by 9, but instead of 16 by 9, like more like 9 by 16. And he has like a bunch of posters from all, like displaying all of his NFTs in there. So I absolutely want to do something like that in my house, and I start like I think that's like a sick idea. I love it.
No. I totally, I've seen that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. And actually, what would be cool is like, well, if you do like the NFTs and you do this comic book thing, I think it'd be kind of cool if it highlighted some real community members too. I mean, I don't know if that was your plans, but like, I've seen we actually did well for Mercurial we did an NFT for someone in the community who actually was amazing and did this amazing video for us. We turned him into an NFT. Like we created a character that he was into, and made an NFT out like a one-on-one NFT for him, and then awesome. He went off and printed it out and framed it and put it on his his living room.
Yeah, so, I think it's awesome. Cool. So yeah, let me know who's the winner, and they will receive this awesome NFT art by MacRogue.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let me. I mean, we're coming up on the hour mark, so let me see if there's any questions from the audience. Does anyone have a question that they want to ask us before we go? I mean, some people have asked about. I'll throw a couple things that you maybe we want to choose to talk about. Some people have asked about competitors and how I mean, these are questions I've seen before, but like and maybe to both of us, like who are the competitors and how do you differentiate? And some other people have asked about in general, like token stuff, more token details.
Yeah, so for the token stuff details, we're going to be doing two things I think that are kind of important from our partnership and some of these questions is Jupiter is coming live first into Meanfi this week. So like expect the little planet to be showing up in our interface very, very soon. So that's one pretty big important piece of news. The second one is that this week also, and I'm not really sure if it's going to come out today. I'll have to like see at the marketing calendar either today or tomorrow for sure. We're going to announce all the details around the IDO. There is a lot of new stuff and a lot of exciting things. So kind of like keep your eyes peeled for that. But just follow us on Twitter, and you will learn about all the details that we have coming up in the IDO. The IDO is going to be next week on the 15th. Right now, we're going to be doing the IDO. There is also going to be at the same time a launch pad going on Selenium. So a whitelist I think opens up on Saturday. And we're going to have also listing that is going to happen a little bit later on Gate.io. It's going to be our first exchange that we're going to list on. So there are a lot of things happening between now and December 24th. And so yeah, it's not nonstop news, nonstop stuff happening for us on these times.
Awesome. Just to clarify, for the IDO, are you hosting that? Will people go to your site? Should they go to your site?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
They're going to be going to our site. It is going to be like, we have some really interesting game dynamics that we're going to be applying because we want to like, and this kind of like goes back into the alignment with the DAO. Like, we're trying to make things that are community first in nature, and that people, like, for example, like most people that if you look at other projects that have done, you know, kind of like the Mango style IDO, it is uncapped. They get very unfair valuations, completely like ludicrous, $1 billion valuation for a project that doesn't even have a product, which is like ridiculous. I mean, how can you justify that is a good, you know, fully diluted valuation for that? That, you know, anybody that gets in those things, like, they can only expect it to come down from that point on. So we're doing a cap raise, right? So like there's a cap that forces everybody to be limited at that time, which gives a lot of upwards movement to the token after IDO, right? So like the community that actually participates can actually benefit from owning the token, from holding the token, right? So we're doing a lot of different things. All of them, every single, we're going to have a video that we're going to be posting as well, explaining like all the dynamics around the IDO. We're going to have a blog post. We're going to have a lot of things that are going to kind of like clarify how the whole thing works. And yeah, I think that it's going to be freaking awesome.
Awesome. And the best way people could find out is to follow you on Twitter, right?
That's right on. Yep, right on. Okay. That's the best way.
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome. Wow. Well, thank you. I think we, you know, I'd love to keep going, but I know all the times are valuable. I really appreciate everyone for coming. I mean, that's great, man.
No, thank you for having us. This has been like a lot of fun, and I can, I you know, all I can say is we love you. We love what you're doing. We love your community, and anything that we can do to make our respective communities stronger, like, you know, that you can reach out to me. You have a good partner, ready to support you guys.
Awesome. Same. Likewise. Yeah. I mean, if you want to host an AMA, I'm happy to pop in too and do one on your side too.
Yep.
So
we'll probably schedule something like that probably after the IDO, because right now it's getting a little crazy on that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I'm super excited for the IDO, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Can't wait. I'm gonna ape it myself. So save me spot.
I know. Alrighty.
All right, Michelle. Great having you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks everyone for showing up.
Bye.
You guys have a good day.